and welcome to episode 109 of the Wine Educate podcast. I am your host, Joanne Close, and today we are tackling a topic that I keep it in my spreadsheet and I keep pushing it down and pushing it down. I'm like, no, we need to talk about Cork Taint. This is important for everyone. So we're going to tackle this topic today. But before we do, just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm heading to France in 4 weeks' time to do our summer trips. We have 43 people joining us this summer. I am very excited. And before I leave, I will be releasing our spring trips. So the boot camp for level 3 students and the level 2 trip for the spring. If you are interested, do make sure you are on the newsletter. I've got the little QR code here for you to scan, or you go to wineeducate.com and click on the green newsletter button. This is where I will release the trip information first to my newsletter folks. All right, what does corked actually mean? I want to clear this up first of all. Sometimes I'm opening older bottles at the bar and chit-chatting away and not paying too much attention, and before I know it, I have been a little too rushed and the cork has disintegrated. Corks get old and they get a little crumbly sometimes. And then you might get some little bits of cork in the wine. This is not what we mean here when we say corked. This is a bit embarrassing and unsightly, but very easily fixed, and you have definitely not affected the taste of the wine. So if you are to get a glass of wine and it's got some crumbly, corky bits in it, maybe I was your hostess and I opened it, I'm sorry. Or maybe, life happens. Just fish it out. It's all right. It won't affect the taste of the wine. That is not what we mean by corked. What we mean by corked is if the wine has been affected by the chemical compound TCA. This is one of the most common faults you'll find for wine. Your WSET book mentions it. You need to know this wine fault. So what is TCA? All right. As you all know, I am not a scientist. I will try my best to describe this to you. I will say, though, the book Understanding Wine Technology by David Bird is excellent. He is a wine chemist, but he describes all these winemaking terms in ways that we all can understand, which is very useful. TCA in its long form is 2,4,6-trichloroanisole. No wonder we call it TCA. It is a powerful aroma compound causing musty, moldy smells that you certainly do not want in your wine. It is usually associated with natural cork. This is where it can live, unfortunately, and then if it's in that cork, it will affect the wine itself, but it can exist in other places as well. What it can smell like: wet cardboard, damp basement, wet dog, moldy newspaper. David Bird says autumnal woods, which I think is very kind because I think the woods smell nice, but this sort of musty, damp cellar smell is what we're referring to. If you're looking at my slide and you're seeing this picture of the wet dog, I know you know what that smells like. It's not very pleasant. However, and this is key, the amount that the wine is affected by TCA can vary. It could be a real stonker. You take the cork out and you immediately smell these things, or it can be really subtle. And if it's really subtle, it could be just enough so that the wine doesn't taste like it did last time. It can just dampen or dull the fruit aromas and flavors just a little bit. And I think this can be perhaps sometimes the most damaging to a wine, because if you're trying a wine for the first time and you're like, I don't really like it so much, and it's because it was corked and the fruit was dampened, that is such a shame, because that is not what the wine was supposed to be like. I will also say that we all perceive cork taint in different degrees. My husband can smell a corked wine from like across the room. Not I, okay? So my cork taint nose is not as hypersensitive as his, And I want us all to understand this and give ourselves a break, okay? Because often in wine, it's like, oh, well, you can't smell the cork taint. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, no, no. We're not going to do that to each other. If we're in a setting and you feel the wine may be corked, you say, hey, this wine, I'm not sure. Could you smell it as well? Let's talk about it. It is a dialogue. It's a very tiny amount that you detect the cork taint. The threshold is in parts per trillion. To put this into perspective, it's like 1 second in 32,000 years, or a few drops in an Olympic size swimming pool. So it only takes a really small amount of this chemical compound to affect a wine. The threshold is even lower in sparkling wines because CO2 helps to volatilize the aroma compounds, right? You've got the bubbles, so you're going to detect it a little bit easier. Where does TCA come from? TCA needs phenols plus chlorine, think bleach. Chlorine reacts with wood materials, then microbes convert it into TCA. And that is about as far as I'm going to go with the chemistry of this. But what's important to know is that wood compounds with bleach is what causes this to happen. It's not just the cork. So you can have wood pallets. The barrels can be subject to this. Even the architecture of the vineyard itself. Think of those big, beautiful wood beams you see in vineyards. They can all harbor this chemical compound, which can be a problem. So wineries take great lengths to make sure they do not use bleach cleaning products. They use other things to clean the winery. And you need to not leave these wooden pallets and things like that just laying around. Indeed, when winemakers go and purchase barrels, they're often careful to test the barrels before they bring them into their cellar. You do not want to let this in the front door. Because sometimes the whole winery can be contaminated. I remember a while back, there was a vineyard. I won't name it because I feel bad about ruining reputations because they've since rebounded. It wasn't just the corks that were affected. A whole vat of wine got affected by TCA and it ruined the whole batch, which is awful, devastating. In the 90s, this was a particular issue. When I was slinging wine over in New York in the early 2000s, I had a really high rate of corked bottles. So I had to be really careful. The cork companies got the memo that there was an issue and they were on it. And they've really tried very hard to eradicate TCA from their corks and done a pretty good job, but it is still an issue. You're still going to come across some corked bottles. So what is happening here? Well, this is interesting. A chlorophenol fungicide was once used on these cork trees. This has since been banned from 1995, but the residues are remaining in the soil and in the groundwater, so they're still showing up and causing problems. TCA can exist in other places too. I don't know if you've ever had those baby carrots in a bag, look like little bullets sometimes, because they end up cleaning these carrots with bleach, which is gross if you think about it. Sometimes TCA can set in on those carrots. If you've ever eaten a carrot and you've gotten like this distinct kind of moldy whiff, that is what is happening. It's TCA in your carrot. I tell the story of my parents' kitchen cabinet. They had their kitchen redone and bought all these Riedel stemwares, and there is TCA living in that cabinet. So every time we take a glass out, we have to wash it because it settles inside the glasses. Sometimes when we get a delivery in the shop, that case of wine, the cardboard has been affected by TCA, and you can smell it, and it's a bit worrisome. But usually the wine inside, the corks inside end up being okay, but we make sure to get that cardboard box out of the shop as soon as possible. What are you going to do if you suspect you have a bad bottle? You've opened up the bottle, it's not smelling so great. Leave it in the glass for a little bit because this compound will get worse the more exposure it has to air. So maybe leave it for half an hour then revisit and you're like, oh yes, it's a bad one. All right. David Bird in his book says that you could, if you don't get the chance to return it, you could cook with it. Well, this is the first time I've heard of this. I don't know if I would really cook with a corked wine, but he says because TCA is steam volatile, it will boil off. Okay, so there's a suggestion for you. If any of you try this and it really works, let me know. So if you're not going to cook with it, take your bottle and bring it back to the shop you purchased it from. The retailer should credit you for this bottle. They will then write corked on the back of this bottle, call up their distributor and say, hey, I need a credit for this bottle too. If you are still unsure about what a corked bottle tastes like, I have a tip for you. Your friendly bottle shop will more than likely have a corked bottle sitting behind the register somewhere. Someone has returned it. They're waiting to give it back to their supplier. Ask them, say, hey, I'm curious. I want to know what a corked bottle smells like. Do you have an example? I'm sure they'd be more than happy to let you have a whiff of the corked bottle so you have a frame of reference for yourself. All right, a few final notes on corked wines. If you order a case of wine and it's all the same wine from the same vineyard, and you open up a bottle and that is corked, do not despair. This does not mean that the whole case has been corked, okay? The corks in the cork factory, they get put in big bins, so they get mixed up. The rest of the bottles in the case are probably fine. I will say, since my days of slinging wine in New York, the cork industry has been working diligently to improve the cork taint issue. And although you will still get bottles that are corked, the incidence of cork bottles is way lower than what it used to be. I hope you find that to be useful. I sent out a poll in the newsletter last week asking you all where we wanted to go with the podcast this summer. I like to lighten things up a bit in the summer. I'll be spending June and July in France, June doing my trips, and July, well, just doing wine things. But I will be continuing the podcast. I asked you all if you wanted to do, what was it? Wine faults, if you wanted natural wine, if you wanted wine and crime, of which you know there's plenty, or something else. And the responses are trickling in. So make sure you let me know what you would like me to do this summer on the podcast. All right, friend, I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will talk to you next time.